I had my Glock cleaned, oiled, and cocked before she even finished the call. It was 12:47 a.m. I was already awake, sitting in the shadows of our walk-in closet, one hand on my old combat knife, the other gripping the cold leather handle of my Glock 19. I wasn't planning on using it. Not yet. I just needed to hear it from her lips. Confirm what my gut had been screaming for weeks. She walked into our bedroom like nothing was wrong. Makeup still on. Hair tousled in that way she thinks screams sexy. She dropped her purse, kicked off her heels, and plopped on the bed, giggling softly. Not for me. For him. Then came the call. I heard her voice, syrupy sweet, fake as hell. Hey baby, she purred, low and slow. He's asleep. This idiot doesn't suspect a thing. My eyes narrowed. My breathing stopped. She giggled again. Send your him in tomorrow. Make it look like a robbery gone wrong. I'm sick of playing house with this loser. She paused. Laughed. No, he's still got no clue I'm not just fing you. I'm fing him over. His money, the house, the business. All mine once he's gone. That was it. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just dealing with a cheating wife. I was sleeping next to a snake. A snake with blood on her hands. But what Madison didn't know, what her boy toy didn't realize, was who the hell I really was. I'm Nathan Walker, former Marine sniper, current off-book CIA operative. My entire existence has revolved around uncovering lies, executing missions with precision, and disappearing without a trace. And she thought I didn't suspect a thing? Here's the truth. She played the perfect wife until she didn't have to anymore. Sweet smiles, fake moans, and the occasional I love you whispered between Netflix episodes and late-night tacos. I knew something shifted about 6 months ago. She started hiding her phone. Started working late at a job that doesn't have an office. Started coming home smelling like cologne I don't wear. She called me boring. Started comparing me to her friends' exciting husbands. Told me I needed to live a little. All the while, she was living in every way behind my back. But I didn't confront her. Not then. I did what I was trained to do. I watched. I listened. I collected intel. Bugged her car. Tracked her phone. Monitored her late-night rendezvous. It was some punk named Travis. 35, personal trainer, drives a rented Corvette, and thinks protein shakes are a personality trait. He'd been sleeping in my bed, drinking my whiskey, whispering trash into my wife's ears. And now? Now he was sending killers after me. I moved silently from the closet as she snored into her silk pillowcase, oblivious. I stood there for a minute, watching her breathe, her lips still wet from another man's kiss. There was a moment, a brief, dark moment, when I thought about ending it right then. But no, that would be too kind. She wanted a show? She was going to get a damn war. I slipped out of the room and down to the basement, unlocked the wall panel behind the furnace. Inside was a safe containing everything she never knew about me. Burner phones, encrypted drives, blueprints of our home, and dossiers on every person I've ever considered a threat. I opened the laptop and activated Protocol Helix. Cameras, motion sensors, alerts wired to my private server. The entire house lit up in digital defense mode. They'd come tomorrow, just like she said. A robbery gone wrong. But what she didn't know. The wrong part wasn't me getting robbed. The wrong part was thinking I'd ever let it end that way. Tomorrow, I'd greet her assassins with the same cold efficiency I used on foreign soil. Tomorrow, I'd let her watch the consequences unfold in real time. And then, when she finally realized what I was, it would already be too late. This isn't just about betrayal. It's about payback. And tomorrow, the game begins. The next morning, she made pancakes, flipping them like she was Betty Crocker, humming a damn Taylor Swift song while pouring syrup like nothing was crawling under her designer skin. If I hadn't overheard that call last night, I'd think this was just another sunny Saturday morning in the Walker household. But I had my eyes wide open now. Morning, babe, she said, flashing that fake smile. The same one she probably gave Travis before climbing into his back seat. I stared at her, trying not to let the disgust show. Morning, Mats. She wore my favorite shirt, white, oversized, no bra underneath. Manipulative detail. She always pulled that move when she wanted to soften me up. Like some sick joke. Like my body was still stupid enough to respond even when my heart was already lighting a fuse. I thought we could go hiking today, she said, sliding the plate toward me. Clear our heads. Reconnect. We've both been tense. Tense? I nearly laughed. Yeah, nothing helps a marriage like a little cardio before calling in a hit squad. I nodded. Sounds good. Inside, I was tracking every motion. The black SUV 2 blocks down hadn't moved since 5 a.m. Guy in the front seat pretending to read a paper. The neighbor's dog barking toward the bushes, not the street. My motion sensor had pinged at 4:32 a.m. Someone had stepped into the backyard, tested the back gate, then disappeared. Amateurs. I took a bite of the pancake. Too much cinnamon. She always went heavy on it when she was nervous. So what's on your mind lately? She asked. You've been kind of distracted. That word again. Distracted. Because I wasn't falling for her lies like before? Because I didn't chase her around the house like a dog waiting for scraps of affection? I leaned back, looked her right in the eyes. I've been thinking about the future, Madison. About what happens when people show their true colors. She blinked, swallowed hard. What's that supposed to mean? You tell me. She stood abruptly, grabbing her empty coffee cup and walking to the sink. I'm not doing this right now. Not with you twisting everything. Classic deflection. Before I could push further, her phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced at it too fast and turned the screen face down. It was Travis. Had to be. Probably confirming the time of delivery. I walked over, leaned beside her. You ever feel like the past never really stays buried? She froze. Just for a second. But I saw it. That crack in the mask. She looked up at me, voice suddenly colder. You're acting weird, Nate. Like paranoid or something. Paranoid. I laughed. Out loud. For the first time in months. You know what's funny, Madison? I whispered, stepping closer so my lips brushed her ear. Sometimes the guy you think is a loser turns out to be the nightmare you never saw coming. She pulled back, clearly rattled. What the hell is wrong with you? Wrong with me? No. What's wrong is the fact that she ever thought I'd be an easy mark. That afternoon, I got a ping on my burner. Movement behind the house. 2 heat signatures. One near the garage. One on the roof. They were early. And Madison? She was on the phone in the guest bathroom, whispering again. Probably trying to confirm if the job was still on schedule. I was done playing house. The plan was in motion now. And tonight, someone's blood would be on my lawn. I just hadn't decided whose yet. For 06 p.m. They came early. I watched from my garage, standing still behind a wall panel that had seen more covert gear than a SWAT van. Madison was upstairs pretending to fold laundry, probably texting that clown Travis with her, he's still clueless, updates. But she had no idea I was already 10 steps ahead. The first guy rounded the side of the house. Gray hoodie. Too bulky for April, he was hiding something under it. He paused by the trash bins, then ducked behind the AC unit. His boots were too clean. Movements too stiff. Not a street thug. Not a crackhead. A pro. Or at least someone trained to look like one. The second one was slower. Bigger. Bald. Beard. Tactical gloves. He took the back route through the neighbor's yard, slipping through the fence I'd left partially open on purpose. Amateurs. Both of them. I dealt with warlords who moved quieter. I waited until they were both inside the perimeter. No masks. They were planning to make it quick. In and out. A robbery gone wrong like Madison had requested. But the moment I heard the one behind the AC unit cock his weapon, I knew this was no scare tactic. This was execution. I moved quickly, silently. Years of ghost operations had taught me how to blend into shadows. I had 2 options, kill or expose. Killing would have been easier, cleaner. But this wasn't just about survival anymore. This was about truth. About pulling the curtain back so the whole stage could burn. I reached the breaker box, disabled the cameras I didn't control, and left only mine running. My hidden lenses were now capturing everything. Their weapons, their approach, their coordination. Everything I needed. Then I walked through the side entrance and slammed the door behind me, just loud enough for Madison to hear. She called out from upstairs. Babe? You back already? I didn't answer. I went to the kitchen and opened the silverware drawer, then flipped the false bottom and pulled out my second Glock. Loaded. Silenced. They entered 30 seconds later. Quiet as they could manage, but not quiet enough. The one in the hoodie stepped into the hallway, weapon drawn. I raised mine from behind the fridge. Drop it, I said, calm as a surgeon. He froze. Didn't expect me there. Didn't expect me armed. Do it, I repeated, voice cold. Or your buddy picks your brain matter out of the tiles. He dropped it. Baldy came in hot behind him, saw the gun, hesitated, just long enough for me to fire a single round into the floorboards at his feet. Panic. Both hands went up. Yo, we don't want trouble. Too late for that, I snapped. Drop your comms, weapons, Everything. Now. They obeyed. I kicked their gear away. My hand didn't shake once. Who sent you? They looked at each other. But he spoke first. I don't know his name. Just got a job through a third party. Said the house would be empty. Liar. I stepped closer. You were told to make it look like a robbery. That's not random. Baldy swallowed hard. Look, man, we're just contractors. Freelancers. That's it. I turned to Hoodie. How much? 10 grand each. Dead. A nod. I recorded everything on my body cam, hidden inside my flannel collar. Then I motioned toward the living room. Sit. Both of you. Hands on your knees. I tied them fast, tight, military style. Then I called out. Madison, come downstairs. Silence. I'm not asking. A minute later, she appeared at the top of the stairs. Pale. Hands shaking. She saw them. Saw me. Saw the gun. Then her voice trembled. Nate, what the hell is going on? I smiled. Cold. Why don't you ask your boyfriend, sweetheart? You remember him, right? Travis? The guy who paid these two to put a bullet in my skull. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. She wasn't ready for this. But she would be. I was just getting started. Madison stood frozen at the top of the stairs. Barefoot, wearing my old college hoodie, her mouth half open like she couldn't decide whether to cry or lie again. I could see the gears turning behind her wide blue eyes, already calculating which version of the truth might save her. Too late. Get down here, I said, voice sharp. Nate, baby, I don't know what's happening. Don't. I pointed toward the floor in front of the two tied-up men, both of whom were now sweating through their hoodies like pigs waiting for slaughter. I could smell the panic in the room. The kind of panic that made lesser men piss themselves. I'd seen it in war zones, in torture rooms, in CIA black sites. And now? Now it was right here in my living room. She came down slowly, gripping the handrail like it might save her from drowning. Nate, I swear to God. I don't know who these men are, she stammered. Why are you pointing a gun at them? What is going on? I tilted my head. Still playing innocent? Even now? I played back the voice recording on my burner. Her voice filled the room, word for word. Baby, this idiot doesn't suspect a thing. Send your him in tomorrow. Make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Her face collapsed. That carefully constructed mask she wore every day? It shattered in real time. And under it? Not fear. Not guilt. But rage. You bugged me. She spat. You hired men to kill me, Madison. She folded her arms. So what? You were a boring, paranoid control freak. I wanted out. Then divorce me. She laughed. Cold and sharp. Please. You think I was going to walk away with nothing? No house? No business? No money? After 10 years playing step-forward wife to Mr. Dead-Eyed Soldier? That cut. Deeper than the knife hidden behind my back. You're insane, I muttered. She shrugged. No. Nate. I'm just smarter than you. Or at least I thought I was. Until I heard the call. Until you remembered you're not just some domesticated loser playing backyard grill master, she sneered. I moved toward her, gun still in hand. You used me. She leaned in, eyes flashing. I faked every moan. Every, I love you. Every damn anniversary. You were just a stepping stone. Behind her words, I saw the years unravel. The vacations. The laughs. The holidays. The nights I held her while she cried over stress. All fake. All part of her game. My stomach churned. The two hitmen sat in silence, watching the meltdown unfold. Hoodie whispered, Damn, man, she's ice cold. You have no idea, I muttered. Then Madison turned and bolted for the door. She almost made it. But the hallway trap was still active. A tripwire snapped across her ankle and brought her down hard. She screamed as her face slammed into the floor. I walked up behind her, leaned down. You're not going anywhere. She spat blood, then laughed. What now, huh? You gonna kill me? Nate? Go full psycho. I didn't blink. No. Killing you would be too easy. I want you to feel it. Feel what? Betrayal. Like I did. But worse. She tried to kick me. I stepped back. You're done playing games. I turned to the hitmen. Get comfortable, boys. Cops are gonna love your confession. They looked at Madison. You didn't say he was this guy. She snapped. Shut up. I grabbed my phone, dialed the agency's shadow contact. Package is secured. Confirming identities. 2 contractors, 1 inside threat. They answered with 2 words. Understood. Extraction inbound. This wasn't about saving myself anymore. This was about dismantling the entire web she'd spun and watching it collapse on her head. And we were only halfway there. By the time the black SUV pulled up outside, Madison had stopped pretending. No more fake tears. No more gaslighting. She sat on the floor with her legs crossed, blood smeared across her lip from the fall, and a smirk that made my skin crawl. Like she was proud of what she'd done. The him-in were zip-tied, mouths taped, and sitting against the wall like obedient little schoolboys who'd just learned their substitute teacher used to be Delta Force. I stood at the window, watching the agency vehicle slow to a crawl. Tinted windows. Bulletproof. Unmarked. It idled at the curb, engine purring like a sleeping panther. Madison noticed. "What the hell is that?" she asked, her voice more curious than afraid. "Back up. Back up," she scoffed. "You're not even on active duty anymore." "Wrong again." I didn't respond. Instead, I opened the front door and gave a single nod. Two men in gray polos and tactical jeans approached. They looked like civilians to the average eye, but they moved like wolves. The first one spoke quietly. "Walker. Package verified. These the freelancers?" I nodded. Confirmed. Full confession. Audio and video. They glanced at Madison. She tried to stand up straight, adjusting her hoodie like she still had dignity to preserve. "And her?" one of them asked. "Civilian," I said. "No jurisdiction. But she's the one who ordered the hit." The taller agent tilted his head. "You want her handled?" I turned and locked eyes with her. Her look was pure venom. "No," I said. "She doesn't get an easy out." "Not yet." The agents hauled the two hired guns out of the house. I followed them to the door, handing over a flash drive with the surveillance footage and audio. "Good work, Walker," the second agent said. "Agency will want a full debrief later." As they drove away with the him-in custody, I walked back inside. The house felt too quiet. Like a storm had passed, but the air was still crackling with leftover lightning. Madison stood in the middle of the living room now, arms folded, face cold. "So what now?" she asked. "You gonna keep me here like some hostage?" "No," I said, calmly. "You're free to go." She blinked. "Wait. What?" "You heard me." I tossed her a small envelope. Inside were divorce papers, signed and stamped. "You wanted out, remember?" She stared at the envelope like it was poison. "You're letting me go?" "Not before I ruin your life." That got her attention. "Excuse me. I've already transferred the house into a shell company under my name. Froze the joint accounts. Seized your luxury car. Oh, and by Monday, your little boyfriend's gym will be shut down for tax fraud. I pulled every financial record. You're both toast." She was shaking now. Not from fear. From rage. "You bastard," she whispered. "No. You don't get to say that. You plan to have me killed." "You deserved it," she screamed. "You never looked at me like I mattered. You were always in your own head, planning missions, keeping secrets. What kind of marriage is that?" "A safe one," I said. "Until you shattered it with your lies." Her voice cracked. "You think you're the victim here?" "No. I know I am." We stared at each other. 10 years of memories collapsing in that silence. The trips. The late nights. The hand squeezes under the table. All dead weight now. "I loved you once," I said. "But now? I don't even recognize the woman standing in front of me." She tried one last jab. "You'll die alone, Nate." I smiled. "That's still better than dying beside you." I opened the front door. "Get out." She hesitated. "Now." She left without another word. And just like that, the house was empty. But not quiet. Not peaceful. Just hollow. The silence after Madison left was deafening. No clacking heels. No perfume lingering in the hallway. No distant sound of her phone buzzing with Travis's dirty texts. Just the tick of the old wall clock and the low hum of the fridge. For the first time in years, I was alone. And I mean truly alone. You'd think I'd feel free. Relieved. Maybe even victorious. But that's not how betrayal works. It doesn't just bleed you, it rots you from the inside. I sat at the kitchen table staring at the cold pancakes she'd made that morning. The syrup had crusted around the edges. Her lipstick still marked the rim of the coffee mug. I should have thrown it all away. But I couldn't move. It wasn't just the cheating. Or the hit-men. It was the performance. She'd smiled in my face while planning my murder. Slept beside me, made love to me, while texting her lover instructions on how to make it look like a robbery. That level of cruelty? It carves something out of you. Leaves a hollow space that no justice can fill. I pulled out my burner phone and deleted every recording. The audio, the video, gone. The CIA had everything they needed. I wouldn't need to hear her voice ever again. Then I opened my main phone. Hundreds of messages. Missed calls from friends, colleagues. News updates already spinning headlines about a local business owner's thwarted assassination. I ignored them all. Instead, I scrolled through my photos. Madison in Hawaii, laughing on the beach. Madison at Christmas, kissing my cheek. Madison in bed, pretending to be the woman I loved. Delete, delete, delete. One by one, I wiped her from my digital life. But she wasn't gone. Not really. She still haunted every corner of this place. Every crack in the floorboards. Every wine glass in the cabinet. Even the smell of her coconut shampoo lingered in the damn shower. I needed to burn it all down. Instead, I poured myself a drink. Bourbon. The expensive kind I kept for retirement parties and funerals. I figured this counted as both. As the alcohol burned down my throat, the weight of it all hit me like a sniper round to the chest. I had survived wars, torture, covert missions behind enemy lines. But nothing prepared me for this kind of emotional warfare. The betrayal wasn't fast or explosive. It was slow, surgical, intimate, like being strangled by someone you once trusted to hold your heart. I didn't cry. Couldn't. My body was too locked up in survival mode to make room for grief. Instead, I walked into my bedroom and tore the sheets off the bed, ripped them straight down the middle and shoved them in a trash bag. Her scent was still in the fabric, mocking me. I pulled the wedding photo off the nightstand and stared at it. She looked so innocent, so happy, so fake. I didn't smash the frame. I didn't scream. I just turned it around, face down. Maybe one day I'd throw it into the ocean. But not today. That night, I slept on the couch with a gun under my pillow, even though the threat was gone. Not because I thought someone would come, but because my body hadn't stopped running the simulation. What if I hadn't overheard that call? What if I had died? Would she have cried at the funeral? Would she have married Travis after collecting the insurance? Would anyone have ever known? I closed my eyes. The answer echoed in the dark. No, she would have gotten away with it. And that truth? It cut deeper than any bullet ever could. A week passed. One long, drawn-out, empty week. The agency sent a cleanup team 2 days after the incident. Not to mop up blood. No one had been shot, after all, but to erase the digital traces. Wipe my house from surveillance grids, clear my name from news circulation, reseal the secrets. As always, they left no footprints. Just silence. I kept waiting for Madison to do something. Call. Text. Apologize. Scream. Sue. But she disappeared like smoke. I knew she hadn't gone far, she was too arrogant for exile, but she had enough sense to know not to poke the hornet's nest again. But her presence still lingered. The neighbors avoided me now. The lady across the street stopped waving. Even the mailman hesitated when dropping off my letters, probably wondering if I was the guy who caught him in his backyard. They didn't know the full story. They never would. One night, I got a text from an unknown number. No words. Just a photo. Madison, sitting in a bar beside Travis. She was laughing. He had his hand on her thigh. Same smirk. Same empty eyes. Like nothing had happened. Like they hadn't tried to erase me from the planet. I stared at the image for a while. Not angry. Not shocked. Just numb. I deleted the text without replying. The next morning, I went to the range. The smell of gunpowder and metal was oddly comforting, like coming home after a decade-long storm. Every pull of the trigger was like therapy. Pop. Madison lying to my face. Pop. Travis touching what was mine. Pop. The call. The voice. Pop. Make it look like a robbery. I emptied 2 full mags. Didn't miss once. On my way back, I drove past her new condo. Not on purpose. I just memorized the address from her last lease renewal. A habit. A leftover reflex from years of recon. I saw her car. Her vanity plate still the same. Drama. How fitting. I didn't stop. I didn't need to. She'd already lost. Not in the way she'd understand. See, she thought love was a weapon,